All right, I think we are recording, and I am here with Paula from Pillar to Post. How are you, Paula?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Nancy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that when I work with first-time buyers, which is a lot of my clients, first-time buyers, they're always asking questions about like the home inspection and, a lot of questions that go through that, and essentially they have to be handheld, which I did. I know when I bought my first house, I was like, you gotta handhold me through this. So I wanted to have you, and I know I met you accidentally, but I met you, and I'm so happy I did, Paula. And I was just so blown away because you are like the first home inspector that's a girl. You're the first woman that I worked with that has showed up, and you're like, I'm your home inspector, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Paula, how did you get started?
Well, back in 2013, I was just getting ready to finish up my master's program. And I knew after I finished up my master's program that I wanted to have my own business. I started just looking at all types of businesses, just anything and everything, restaurants, nail salon, just everything and anything. And I decided that none of that was a good fit. And then I went ahead, and a friend of mine, I was telling him, I'm really thinking about getting my own business together. At some point, I got to do this. I'm just going to bite the bullet because, it's a scary thing. I mean, you end up putting your job and putting everything you got into a business. And I wanted it to be something that was going to be, a good business where I could help people and I interact with people, but still get somewhat of a physical stimulation. So my girlfriend, who's a real estate agent, is like, Paula, maybe you should try something different. She goes, what about being a home inspector? And I thought to myself, wow. And this is like a couple of years later. I thought that's an interesting interesting field. So I went ahead and did some more research. I looked up, home inspections. I found out, what was going on in the industry, how long would it take me to get up and running, what kind of education, and how long all that would take. And then finally I sold a few of my properties. I had some capital, and I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be now or never.
Yeah.
So I ended up just saying, okay, it's time. I'm going to do it now. So quit my job, found Pillar to Post, went ahead and did all of my training, got everything together, and launched within about 3-4 months. But yeah, I quit my job and I did it. And it's been wonderful ever since, because it's challenging physically. So I love that. So it forces me to keep somewhat in shape. I always have to think about, I got to climb a roof. I got to get under a house. So I got to be, pretty nimble in that. Yeah. And then also I get the intellectual stimulation, right? So I need to understand all the different systems in the home, the structure, foundation, electrical, plumbing. So I need to understand that. And then plus I also get to work with people, which I absolutely love that part. So it's a little bit of everything that I really like. So that's how I ended up here.
Nice. And you can maintain your own house now, right? Like, know everything. You can fix your own house, girl. That's amazing. But I was just so blown away, because I get that too when I go do appraisal inspections. They're like, oh, you're my inspector? So I was just so excited. So I'm just so happy to have you on board. I love working with you. I wanted to ask you, so let's get to the nitty gritty here. What is a home inspection?
A home inspection actually provides you with the report of the current condition of the home.
Okay.
And this is a really important part of your transaction and your home buying process, because what you want to know is the condition of the home. Things like electrical, things like plumbing, items like foundation and structure is very important, because most likely this is going to be the biggest investment that you will make in your lifetime, especially especially here in California, right?
Yeah.
So this is not something to take lightly. It is important. It's important to the client who's buying. It's important to me. It's important to you, Nancy. I've seen you. You're great. I've seen you in action with your clients, and you have to care about it, right? So
absolutely.
So that's what a home inspection is. It provides you with the report that provides you with information on the condition of the home that day. Yep.
Perfect. How long does usually a inspection take? Like, what would you say rough estimate of like a
It could
condo,
take,
multi-home?
yeah. So a condo could take an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it also depends on how many deficiencies I find. The more deficiencies, the longer it could take. I think you and I, the first property we did together, inspection, it took a while, and the reason why it took a while was there was quite a few deficiencies.
Yeah.
So, and then when you're talking about a home, it just depends on how big the home is, right? So you're talking about a 1,500 square foot home versus a 4,000 square foot home. That will kind of tell you how long it's going to take. It could take anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours, depending on how large the house is, because we want to make sure that we get to everything. And I definitely don't ever rush a home inspection.
Exactly.
If you need to
Exactly.
leave me there with the code and have me shut it down myself, that's fine. But it's something that is not taken lightly, and never rush a home inspection. Let the home inspector do their thing and get it done. And you know what, honestly, it's in the benefit of all of us, right? It's in the benefit,
Absolutely.
of the client who's buying, both realtors, the seller. We want to make sure we're providing the best service possible.
Yeah, because you want to be as thorough as possible. Now, when you submit your report, that's what you'll get, is a thorough report of all the findings that you found of that day within the property, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Now, what are some of the like red flags, big things that you see that most buyers or sellers or even realtors miss sometimes? Like some of the things that you think they need to pay more attention to?
So I think when you're buying a home, although everything could be working just fine, and I think we had a little conversation about it prior to the call, but things like the age of your water heater, the
Mm-hmm.
age of your HVAC, those kinds of things are really important to pay attention to. And I try to make sure that I provide you with that information. I'll take pictures of the labels if I could find them, if I could read them and things like that, and to give you the manufacturer date. Okay. But those kinds of things are important because you need to plan and be able to plan. If
Yeah.
your water heater is 20 years old and a water heater lasts 15, you're on the verge of needing to buy a new water heater. Even though that water heater works when you move in, you need to be ready to be able to replace that water heater if it goes out in 2 months after you move in, because that's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
So you need to be prepared for those types of things. So I think that really paying attention to the age of appliances, even appliances, right? I take a picture of the labels of the appliances and stick them in the report. The age of a refrigerator, it lasts about 10 years. Well, your refrigerator is 25 years old. You have to plan. My refrigerator might go out, things like that. And the home warranty may cover some of the stuff, but it may not either. So pay attention to those items, the manufacturer date on the items, HVAC, water heater, appliances. That way you could plan accordingly with your finances.
Perfect. Yeah. Now, I agree. I was just telling you, like, I think when I bought my first home, that was one of the first things that went out. And I don't remember seeing it on the report. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm 6 months into this house and my water heater, and they're not cheap. They're not cheap either. So yeah, allocate. Perfect. I love that. Now, what are some of the minor things that you see again that buyers are like, yeah, they're minor, but that do need attention to?
Yeah, I think when you see like a faucet leaking or something like that, you might think, oh, that's just a faucet leak. We just need to tighten it. Don't let that faucet leak go, because that could turn into something bigger
Bigger.
underneath the sink that you might not see, right? So, faucet leaks are one thing, and also check underneath. And if there is a leak in your P-trap underneath the sink, don't let that go. You could end up with water damage and mold, and it could just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that problem could just continue to get bigger, and you don't want that. So those are a couple of things. And then also like the minor things, like, tighten up your drawers and things like that, the hinges and that. So you make sure that they're closing properly and things like that. And, end up like it falling off and, cracking or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What about electrical plugs or stuff like that? Would you say that's something that you see people kind of, well, this one works on this side of the room, so this one should be fine, or how does that work too?
That really could be annoying when you buy a property. And in fact, when I bought my property, that's what I discovered was
Me
not all,
too.
and I had an inspection done, but of course, during the inspection, there was furniture, not all the plugs were working. And that's
Yes. Oh, that's so annoying. So much furniture. Oh.
so I didn't find out till I moved in that a lot of the receptacles were not working, and also GFCI, right? They
Yes.
weren't even working, and I'm like, "What kind of GFCI is this? It doesn't even work." So those are things that are really important when it comes to electrical. You know, you want to make sure all that stuff is working, and then if you have children, childproof your house before you even move in, right? Put those little caps on those receptacles and things like that. That's very important because you don't want any of the little guys getting shocked or anything. You know,
I
they're
know.
so good at sticking stuff in those little.
I have one. I have one. He's turning 3 in August, and God, I love my son, but he is very curious. So I just told my, in fact, we got, funny story, side note, we got a cover for our cabinet so he doesn't open them, a
Yeah,
cover. And so I thought, cool, mom, you know, I got it down. Paula, I found him in the kitchen opening and playing with the thing. He wasn't opening the cabinets, which is good. He was avoiding, but he was playing. He's like playing with the lock. And I'm like, how'd you do that? Like, okay, so this is not proofed. Okay, great. My son was, if my son was able to play with the lock, okay, yeah. Well, okay. So
he's
that
a
was a true
smart
story,
boy.
guys.
Yeah, he's a smart boy.
Yes, I was like, oh my gosh. But all right, now another thing that I get asked all the time, and I feel like there's no really right or wrong answer, but you as a home inspector and expert in this, how, if there was a guide to what they should fix first, you know what I mean? Like a house, where should I start? What should I fix? What are some of the things that I should start with first? What would you say?
Safety first.
Okay.
Anything that is unsafe for your family, whether it be like the GFCIs, you don't have any near the water, you know, near the sinks. Absolutely get those fixed. That's a safety issue. You know, temperature pressure valves and the pipes from the water heater, if they are not to, you know, if they're not correct, get that fixed. Those are important. Any type of safety issue, stairs, if the railings are loose, if you know, the stairs are loose, if they aren't proper, you know, all those types of things. Get any safety issues out of the way and taken care of first. A rise in the concrete on a walkway, definitely get that taken care of. Any safety issues, and generally with home inspectors, we will call out safety issues. We have to call out safety issues because that's what home inspectors generally are for, not only just the condition of the home and the main systems in the home, but is this home safe to live in? And so we highlight safety issues. So if it's safety issue, that needs to be taken care of before anything else.
And that was actually going to my next question. I love that you said that, because what are some of those health issues and fire and water damage that people should really be aware of?
Well, like simple things like if you have a fireplace, you know, get it swept. You know, have the chimney looked at.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want combustion. You know, so combustion means blow up, right? So you don't want that happening when, you know, you have a nice cool, you know, winter day and you light your fireplace and then everything goes up in flame. Make sure that, you know, your dampers and everything are working and they're in working order before you do stuff like that. And then people don't think about this, but loose plates around the receptacles, those can be
Yeah.
those can be really damaging. Like you don't think about it, or if you see a receptacle and it looks like it has some scorched burn marks on it, so that's a big red flag. That okay, why did this have a scorch? Like it's got flames, like it was burned at one point. You know, you might want to ask the question, should I even be sticking something in there? Should I even be using that receptacle? Those types of things, you know, are big items to look at, right, when you first move in, you know?
And you're so good about calling that out. Your reports, I remember, I think the first property we went into, there was so many wires coming out of like places everywhere. So I believe it was in the kitchen, and you were like, okay, I think it was so detailed. So thank you. You were like, this needs to be taken care of, FYI. But that's awesome. Now, another question I always suggested, but as an expert, what do you think? Can buyers, or like people that show up, the buyer that's purchasing the home, can they follow you around?
I don't really mind it. It's really up to the inspector. Some of them don't really like it. It doesn't bother me any, but I will tell you, you follow me around, it'll probably take me a little longer to finish the home inspection because, you're going to have questions, and that's
Yeah.
fine. My, my ultimate goal is to make sure that you're happy with your home inspection.
Yep.
And if it means I take a little bit more time with you, that's fine too. That's my job, is to make sure that you are feeling good about not only the work that I'm doing, about the purchase you're making. Because again, I'll go back to, this is probably going to be one of the biggest purchases of your life, right? If you are not following me around, I could get it done and then just recap at the end with you and tell you all of my findings.
Can they email you after the report is done, or call you and say, hey, where is this located? Hey, can you explain this to me more briefly?
Absolutely. You'll have my contact information, and my lines are always open to you. It's part of my service. I want to make sure and follow up with you, because you are going to receive a call from me anyway. Even after the Zoom call, and that, 4 or 5 days later, you will receive a call from me saying, hey, do you have any questions about the report? But even after that, you can call me anytime. I could pull up your report. I have them all stored, and I could go over things with you and help you better understand locations of certain things, or what at the time of the inspection, what I was looking at, and that. And, that's all good. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And now, do you usually tend to come out even after your inspection? But now we have Zoom, so I feel like Zoom would be okay. So usually,
Yeah.
a lot of people they're like, can you come back out? I just want to double check. But now you are even willing to do like a Zoom call or video,
Yep.
with the client if they're still feeling uneasy about.
Yeah, I mean, FaceTime, right? We got our cell phones. Just
Yeah.
FaceTime and take me to where you have a question, and I'll be like, okay, show me what that. Okay, and then I'll tell you my opinions, or talk to you about what your concerns are, and that type of thing. Absolutely. Like I said, my lines of communication are always open. Always open.
Perfect. I love that. Now, another thing that before we end this, and thank you so much again for your time, but you carry your own E&O insurance, right, Paula?
Absolutely. Insurance is really important. When you're choosing a home inspector, a lot of people don't ask this question. It's a very important question, because it really shows, number one, that the home inspector takes their business seriously. And also, you can't not just anybody can get, insurance, and it depends on how much it is. But when you purchase, insurance, there are requirements that they have of you as a home inspector. They want to know, where you got your education from. They want to know what it is exactly you're going to be inspecting. They want to know how many people you have on staff. They want to know, of course, your coverage. My coverage is $1 million. And, to most people right now, you might think, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Not in our area.
Not in LA. Yeah, I was just about to say LA is Los Angeles, Orange County, Ventura. Nope, I get it. I feel you.
Yeah, we are California. We are special people, and $1 million, it might seem like a lot, but it really isn't. And if for some reason something were to happen, the insurance is there to protect me, protect the buyer, protect the realtors. It's there for a reason. So if you talk to a home inspector and they don't have, insurance, I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't even use them, because what if something were to happen? What if something were to major that I missed? I'm not a robot, but what if you never know, right? And exactly. Just like we do with our cars and have insurance, you have to have business insurance, insurance. It's a must.
Exactly. Thank you. And thank you for letting them know, because now when you are looking for your home inspector, you want to make sure that they carry E&O insurance, that they're experienced, and so forth. So All right, Paula. Now, because I love you so much and I want people to know about you and work with you just like I have, what is your charge? What do you typically charge and what do they get with that charge?
So my charge is based off of, there's not a set, first of all, I have 3 different packages, right? So I have the plus package, which is all of the major systems in the home that get inspected. I have the premium package, which includes everything that the plus package has, but then it adds on thermal imaging, which is a technology where it allows me to see things that I cannot see with the human eye, and perhaps an electrical panel or in the bathrooms, something like leaks, something like overcurrents in the electrical panel, in a circuit breaker. And then there's the prestige package, which is everything that the plus and the premium has, and then it adds in mold and allergy testing. So there are 3 different packages, and it also depends on, it's a condo, a townhouse, or a single family home, and it depends on the
Size.
the size, right? So the square footage. So it could start from 250 all the way on up, depending on how large the property is. And then again, duplexes, fourplexes, triplexes, I do all of that as well. So it just depends on the size. And if you have like a casita in the back or something like that, there's all that to take into consideration. So it's just not one flat fee. But I think the thing to take away is this is the biggest purchase you'll be making in your life, most likely. And
So you want to make sure you're safe.
Yep. Make
Yeah.
sure you're safe, and really get what you need for your family. It's not always the cheapest, and it's not always the most expensive, but just get what you think your family needs and your concerns are. I have people who buy the plus package all day, and then I have people who buy the prestige package. Their kids have allergens or have battled, some health issues, and so now are very susceptible to major allergens. So they go ahead and get the mold and the allergy testing, and they get everything. Again, it's the health of your family, and you can't put a price tag on that, right? So
Exactly. Thank you so much, Paula. I
thank you,
loved
Jeffrey.
working with you. I've worked with you on several inspections, and so I have to say, you always, even though you know me, you still follow up with a call. You still call me. How you doing, girl? Is everything good? You sold? You closed it already? Great, good for you. And I'm so grateful because it just really shows the character, right? And that's within you. It's not just I got to do my job and then I'm out. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, I love the lines of communication, and I love working with you. You're really good at what you do, girl.
Thank you.
Also, all of you buyers out there that come on, check her out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and you have a great Friday. It's Friday, so enjoy your day.
Thanks, Paula.
Okay.